Hi, my name is Kiersten. I appreciate you for coming in today. This is a judgment free zone. I want you to feel comfortable opening up and expressing yourself and talk about anything that you want to talk about. So, what brings you in here today?
Today, I want to come in. I used to use heroin, so I've been clean for a while now, but it's very challenging to stay clean with all the things, situations that I'm experiencing in life. So I'm trying to get some kind of balance where I can avoid um, returning back to heroin use because it's very tempting, and I do know that that's an easy way out, but sometimes that's the better way or seems as the better way at that time. So I don't have to deal with all the things that are going on. So stress has always been a way for me to return to drug use, and I'm trying to figure out what to do about that because I don't want to go back down that path.
I understand how you're feeling and how overwhelming that must be. It sounds like you want something different, but a part of you also is trying to stay with something that is comfortable for you.
Yeah, because like I know that I do see some progress since I stopped using. Um, and I sometimes I want things to happen right away, and things aren't really moving to a pace that I feel that is good for me with progressing in life. I just feel like although I stopped using, I'm still not getting anywhere. Um, and I know that that's due to certain situations that happened in my life, like being arrested and things like that, which hinders me from getting certain jobs. Um, I go on Indeed all the time and apply for jobs, and I notice I get most of the time no responses, so it's kind of frustrating. Um, I just want to be able to be what society consider as normal, and I can't seem to get to normal because of uh, seeming like it's because of my past and the things that I've done in the past. But I'm trying to make the necessary changes, and I'm hoping that people could just see and give you a second chance because I feel I am capable of change, but they're not affording me an opportunity. And that's frustrating for me. And if it's frustrating for me, then financially it's frustrating for my lady, which is also frustrating for our kids. Which so my addiction has really seemed like it put me in a place of need, and opportunity isn't there to like assist me along the way. And sometimes it just feels like a better thought to return to youth and not even deal with life or responsibilities. Um, they sometimes say it would be an escape, but I don't feel that way. I just feel that um, at that time, using will help my mind to ease all the stress. So that's kind of like where I'm at with this whole thing right now. And the urge is getting stronger because no change is happening, and it's very frustrating.
I see how that is a lot to deal with, and how that could be affecting your day to day. You've stayed clean this far. Can you tell me what's been keeping you away from giving into those cravings?
Yes. What's been working? One thing I learned was to change my people and places and things. Um, that has had a tremendous effect, although it wasn't necessarily easy for me to do because the people that I was using with were my friends. And to me, they still are my friends. So I it was very trying and hard for me to stop hanging around people I've been hanging around for 30 years. To me, that's a easier said than done. And, if they call or they come over, I'm not going to reject them. So, to some degree, I feel that I need to for my sobriety, but I also feel as though that they are my friends, and what kind of person would I be if I do such a thing? If they come knocking on the door, what I'm supposed to say, I can't hang with you no more. You know, I just think it's too many barriers to stay clean, and it breaks a lot of people's hearts if you have to do all those things. So I just don't really know where or how to process and deal with all this at the time.
So what I heard you saying is that you want to stay away from your cravings and stay on your path of being clean from addiction. I mean, your addiction, but you're also worried about what other people may think, especially your friends, and not feeling like you're disregarding them or you're changing everything about yourself. Um, do you think your friends are capable of supporting you and not doing anything around you that could trigger you going back to those cravings?
Um, my friends are very stubborn. I guess I would say stubborn, and I think I'm stubborn too. So I think that was a compatibility that we all had that we recognized that made us become friends. So I think there will be some resistance or some resistance from them as far as accepting that I'm considering I can't be around or hang with them. Um, I might have one or two that might understand, but most of them probably won't understand. And that's where it becomes a problem for me because, you know, if they're my friends, I don't want to do anything to make them feel neglected. So it's very hard, and my girlfriend says, I have to do what I have to do to stay clean. And I realized that I need to do this for my to build a healthier life for me and my family. It's just very hard and it's very challenging. And with nothing not going forward, it seems like I'm stagnant. I can't get a job. If I get a job, then it's something like a side hustle, which really ain't a job and don't supply all of our needs. So I know my addiction got me into this, and my I just don't want to relapse, but it feels as though relapse is a better option sometimes than taking on all this change and responsibility that life has set out for you. or for me.
I appreciate you opening up and expressing this to me. I know it takes a lot of courage to even admit what you're saying. Um, can you tell me more about what you view your life as without these barriers that you mentioned?
Yeah, it's kind of like when I hear them say avoid people, places, and things, it sounds boring. I've been clean after trying to do that, and yes, I stay clean, but my life becomes boring. It becomes isolated. It's almost like I have no one, or everyone that I had can't be halved still, because of their continual drug use. Everyone I know was using drugs, so it's not. They were either using drugs or selling drugs or involved in drugs in some kind of way. So I don't know how to start over. It's a complete start over. It's a complete 360, or where I just have to now find new friends, new sober friends, you know, and even sometimes that feels risky because, you know, me and someone else that's trying to get sober or stay sober, one of us could be a trigger for the other. So it's kind of putting me in a place where I need to make all new friends, hang out in all new places, and change all the things I was doing that had a negative impact on my life. So that thought alone is overwhelming to me, and it makes me very, in a sense, depressed because it's asking a lot of me. And that's a whole lot of change that I don't think is fair. But I guess to some degree I can't look at what's fair. I got to look at what's better and good for me to stay clean. So I can do it, and I think I know I will have to, but it's not going to be satisfying in the beginning, if that makes sense.
I understand that it is a lot to overcome addiction and to even think about all the things that you might have to change in your life changing from what I'm hearing. Um, what do you think, though, when you think about it, what are the things that you are most looking forward to when you think about completely getting over the cravings?
Um, I just think if I can get over the cravings, it's kind of weird because I hear people talk about cravings, and my cravings are, very strong. So I can wake up one day and all I want to do is use. Um, I don't know if I'll ever get in a place where those cravings stop. And to wake up like that is very hard for me to resist the urge of just giving in. Even with no friends around that's encouraging me or to use, the craving alone is strong, and it's sometimes a thought that I can't replace, and I go the whole day thinking of how I would feel if I just get high today. So, and it sounds better than facing the day without being high, because I faced a lot of days in my life being high. So that is all I know, to face the day with being high, and how, and with that, in that way, I don't really have too much to worry about. It's kind of like I just would get high, and then whatever else takes place that day just takes place. And I don't worry too much about the things that I have to worry about now, trying to be on the other side of the fence. Responsibility, accountability, being there for my kids, and things like that. Those were things I didn't even really have to worry about. I just kind of went day to day, and everybody knew I wasn't going to be there or wasn't going to be responsible. So when I get clean, I hear things from family members and my girl about, like, so now are you going to step up to be a real dad? Or, yeah, we like you this way, but are you going to stay clean? So sometimes when you hear these things, you get discouraged, to hear, are you really going to stay clean? You like it's no effort for me trying, and so I think that even plays a part in increasing my desires to want to go back to using. You just think that a lot of things going to be positive from that point on, but sometimes it don't. Sometimes you get the sister that say, hey, I remember you stole my laptop and sold it, so I don't care nothing about you getting clean. I want you to repay my money. And you're getting clean and I'm getting clean, and then it's like I still have to deal with the things I've done and the people I hurt. And so sometimes the better alternative for me seems to be to give in to the urge and just jump back into full-blown heroin use. If that helps or makes sense, but that's what I've been, that's where my thoughts are with it,
I understand it could be hard to try to want better for yourself and be reminded of your past, and how that could affect you negatively on your journey of recovery and being free from it, overcoming your addiction. Has there ever been a time that you could think of, or a moment, maybe you were doing something, or a moment in time where you felt like you didn't hear the cravings whispering in the background?
Yeah. So since I only been clean about 5 months, the thing is that, the cravings, they do come and go, but when they're here, they are here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there are days where things go smooth and I don't even have a craving. But then I still have to wrestle with, my true reality of where I'm at in life. After I got clean, life seemed boring, to be honest. Life seemed really boring. I didn't know what to do now. I was clean and just sitting around like, what am I supposed to do now? I was so used to 10 years of waking up doing heroin, hanging in the streets with the people that we're using and talking stuff. Whatever we talking about, hanging out, sitting there high and watch a whole day go by doing absolutely nothing. Um, so sometimes I do miss the um, the lesser of being responsible. Sometimes I do miss just doing nothing. Now on the path of 5 months clean, I'm trying to figure out how to do the right thing, get a job. Should I apply for school? I got to figure out a way to have income and provide and get transportation and all those things. And all those things takes time. And 5 months in, still struggling. I didn't know it take all this. It's really like, and that's what I do. I get discouraged a lot, where I just sit there and say, is it really worth it? Is this worth all of my effort? Am I getting anything out of this change? Should I just go and be the dope addict that many probably expect me to be? So, yeah, that whisper sometimes comes, and then sometimes it goes. But I wrestle a lot with my own thoughts of, is this really worth it? And most of the time, honestly, it makes me lean more towards going back than continuing this road of sobriety and trying to stay clean and please make a better and pleasing life for myself, through this, through the discomfort. It's just not a comfortable feeling, knowing that you can't provide. It's another trigger for me to go back, or I don't have money, or I can't just take my son to the mall and buy him some shoes. So this addiction has really set my life back a lot of years, and I just kind of like lost on my decision still of what to do.
I understand. That's completely understandable and overwhelming. I'm sure that's a lot for one person to consider. When you are thinking about your addiction and your cravings as a whole, um, when you say you want to go back, compared to how you are now, what's the difference?
Um, the difference is that I know going back is not the right thing, but a lot of times I feel going back is the best thing. I know it will burn a lot of bridges again that I've been trying to rebuild. But it just seems like the better, because I really, through my addiction, I just really had no responsibility. And it didn't seem, it was bad. I'm not going to undermine my addiction, but I just wanted, it's a peaceful day to some degree. You don't have to worry about bills. You don't have to worry about, the kids. They know you're not going to be there. The girl know you're not going to be there. It's kind of like a life that you want with no responsibilities. So I kind of enjoyed it so long for 10 years of every day of chasing dope and then have nothing else to worry about. And the difference on the other side of it is that I don't, on this side, people are expecting me to step up. And that is very hard, considering a pattern and a habit I had for 10 years that I'm trying to make the correct changes. And it seems like change is so far away. So I do want to be better. I'm struggling at this point with and wrestling with, is it really worth it? I don't do like NA meetings or drug groups or nothing. I don't have transportation or any of that to do. I think they were saying something about online. I could do that, with my phone, but I don't really have those connections yet. So maybe that will be helpful, where I'm talking with or being around other people that are, experiencing similar cravings and thoughts about addiction and where to go from there. So I think I just need to put more effort, and maybe that will make me feel better about being on this side of the fence. What you think?
I believe that you are. It takes a lot of courage to overcome what you came, and I understand it's not easy, because there is a stigma around addiction, and I understand, like you said, that you had to build a lot of bridges and those connections. I do think that. Are you open to going to those meetings possibly?
I think I think it would help because the thoughts I'm wrestling with, maybe some of the answers might be there. So I might can get the tools and the coping skills that I need to continue the journey of recovery. Because I do know that relapse can lead me all the way back down the wrong path. And I don't want to do the things that I was doing again. So I know I have to stay clean. I just need some guidance on things that will help me stay that way. Because if I don't have guidance and support, then I will revert back to what I used to do.
You've given me a lot to think about. We're coming to the end of our session. I really do appreciate you for opening up and expressing all these things to me about your stressors that you go through and how they play a big part in staying sober, and wanting to go back to using again, and how you really are contemplating going back to using because it's just overwhelming to deal with starting over and figuring out where you fit in this new life that you're living, and also how your family and friends fit in and your support system. I really do. You've given me a lot to think about. So we'll talk about this during our next session, and we'll dive a little deeper. But I really appreciate you for speaking with me.
Okay, thanks for your time. Thank you.